Hello everyone. Welcome to our solo score rush playoffs. Week one of solo score rush playoffs. Uh, against Jose and Enxevity. I am one of your commentators, XX Darkmaster XX, alongside here with Nightcore.
Hello, Dark Master. Good to be with you in the commentary booth. This is going to be one of our last playoffs for this week. If I do believe. Yeah. So as you were saying, it is Joe's XD versus Enxevity. Enxevity. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it like that. And you can already tell by the seating difference. It definitely is one of those higher versus lowers. Especially that in the playoffs, how the top players do kind of have this week off. It's pretty much going to be like your top seed versus bottom seed for this match. And I'm pretty interested to see how things go. So what do you think about this matchup?
I think it's kind of a little bit of a crazy score gap, but I think with both players are both decently good at the game. But if I think Enxevity plays his cards right, he could get a few points in here.
Yeah, looking off by the stats, I would probably agree with you. Like, if we look at the Rice, I'd say the difference is somewhat minimal there. It's really just the LNs that have tanked Enxevity that much. Just looking off from our coordination stage 3, stage 8, and stage 5, you can tell that he definitely struggles a lot more in the long notes. And I think if Joe's XD definitely takes advantage of that weakness, I think this match could be. I think this match could potentially end early if some mistakes are made. But as we are getting into our picks, I probably will think this is an Enxevity's pick. Looking at the bans, if I probably had to guess, I did see LN2 ban, really strong ban I think from Enxevity, and Rice 2 ban from Just Today. I think those bans are pretty reasonable. But what do you think about them?
If I'm not mistaken, I think I also saw like a Rice ban in there.
It was Rice 2, Cherry.
Yeah. I think both players are playing to their advantages here, so this could possibly be an interesting matchup here. I didn't really get to see what category this map was in, so I'm not sure what skill this map is mainly.
I do believe this is Rice free. It is going to be kind of it is going to be one of our mixed Rice picks, but kind of does orient more between Jacks and streams. So kind of a pretty spicy map, I think, to start off. And if I probably have to guess, I would think this is an Enxevity's pick. Just already kind of judging off that it is Rice. But we'll have to see how these two players do perform. And I guess DMP has been given out, and we can just start.
Yeah, it is a little lower on the star rating, so possibly this could be like a ratio gap to win. Oh, we've opened with what's it called, miss on Lexi's side, but as long as he gets that out of the way earlier, he could come back later in the match.
Yeah, again, if you were to miss anywhere, definitely would be to start. And as I say that, finding a couple more combo breaks is only going to be increasing the score lead. And the map does get a bit harder from here. Again, as you have seen from our first quarter, it starts off a pretty simple 140 BPM jacks and some mini 160 bursts. But when we do get in, we are going to be jumping into more jump stream aspects thrown as well with some bursts. But still, I think Enxevity is still holding onto that accuracy fairly. Never mind. Okay, they did find another draw, which they're just pretty much struggling to keep up with that 400 combo cap. And especially as the difficulty is not really going to be lowering anytime soon when we do get into the back half, this can potentially spell a bit of danger, I think.
Yeah, These these kind of I wouldn't I don't think the map has really picked up yet. I mean it has here, but that earlier part with the two core jacks is kind of interesting.
And as we get through the outro, the jacks are going to be picking up a bit more, and Enxevity just trying their best to climb back up despite even finding a couple more of those combo breaks. But Joseph's just not breaking at all, still holding on to that very solid 99.73. And as the map just closes out with that final stream, already gives a very hefty advantage for Jose, having that 89,000 score advantage early on.
Yeah, that is kind of a brutal score lead, especially since Jose picked up nearly a V1 SS here on the first map.
Very solid performances from both players. Again, I think whether this is, your first or your upcoming tournaments as well, it's always a good learning experience to kind of see. But now with that, I would guess breakpoint from Enxevity, we're going to be jumping into Joseph's pick. Not going to be too surprised if one of the LNs are going to be picked. And I think just because how Enxevity's biggest concern for their weakness is density, I would probably... Oh, never mind. LN2 is banned. LN3 has not been banned. Okay. So, LN3 being picked, and LN2 was banned. Okay, that's probably the one that... I think that's the best pick. That's the best ban Enxevity would have been able to do. And Joseph's just going to be... jumping straight into the deep end, picking another one of Enxevity's weaknesses. Going to be our technical LN.
This could be better for Enxevity here, since it is I guess one of the lower accuracies in it's a lower accuracy LN map. And again, sorry, it's kind of a brutal combo drop, but I guess it's better that it was right in the beginning.
Yeah, and XD just struggling on those releases near the start, only holding down to that 96. Okay, I have been informed to pronounce Jose as Jose. Okay, we're calling him Jose. It's 11 PM and I'm tired, so I'm sorry. But as we kind of do get into it, it is pretty, 120 is pretty slow. Especially when you're just trying to focus on those releases. And as we have just seen from the intro, well, it's just mostly gonna be, this kind of takes most of the format, just kind of having those bursts, which in XZ just not really having too much of a good time, dropping below the S rank range. And as a Ki does jump in, we're getting a bit more of that density intact as well with some of those longer releases. Jose is just slurping these up and definitely taking advantage of this pick.
Yeah, I definitely feel like these lower BPM LN maps are kind of just if you know how to deal with them or not. I guess it's a skill set sort of adjacent to SV, but
well, I think LNs for a lot of many players are like a Marmite. Well, you either love them and want to play them, or you just don't like them at all, or just don't like them, which is fair, I guess. It's like NXT is still really struggling to keep up with. Is really just struggling as that score difference just goes to that 6-digit range, and we still have the ending as well, which is going to be following the same suit as we have seen, containing some more of those lighter walls, and I do think some mini shields also present, which again, Jose has just been keeping very consistent with this pick, not really breaking a sweat, other than the occasional 200, and we are actually introducing some of the flams in as well, and I think both players are finding them okay. It's just when I think the walls are more introduced, and Enxevity is just really struggling to keep up with those releases, as you can kind of see from the unstable erasure.
Yeah. And Lexi can do anything here to come back unless Jose just lets go of the keyboard for the rest of the map.
Even then, I still don't think there's enough time. At the end of this, Enxevity is probably just going to come out with this with around high 600k, low 700k. There's nothing really in this situation that Jose can do besides a disconnect that will kind of swing things back over towards. But as we do get for the outro, unfortunately is not enough time, and the damage has been done. So that is going to be actually giving that 100,000 point lead over towards Jose, having kind of having that bigger risk on an Enxevity, as if they do lose by another 50k or greater score, that will be the end of that will be the end of the match.
Oh
I
man,
think. Oh,
that is, huh?
I think if there's one concern for an Enxevity, it definitely is that they're really not that. I don't think they're really that comfortable with the releases, especially as if you look at that 50 count, it is very high for a pick like this.
That
So
was, that was kind of a brutal game for Convexity there, around 300k. So you should see what happens in the next one. I believe this is going to. Is this one Jose's pick?
this
Or
is no, this is the next
okay,
hoodie's next pick.
okay.
So if I was the next hoodie, I would probably be going for something. Um, I think their best bet is one of the other tech picks. I think they'd have to go with something like Rise 5. So which pick is this again? I actually do forget.
Um,
Oh, it's Jose's pick. Never mind.
yeah, okay.
Wait,
Um,
I'm Jose. I mean,
yeah. Um,
okay. Jose gets the second pick. My bad.
but this is
I just had a brain for it. Okay, so they're
this
gonna
is
be jumping into hybrid
yeah,
3.
this should be interesting for both players here. Hybrid 3,
I think
banking on
this
both skill sets. What were you saying?
I think this is a strong pick on Jose's side. I think definitely looking from what we have seen from the stats, um, we know that NXT is a bit stronger when it does come to hybrid compared to LN, and we know that NXT can hold their own when it does come to tech. So I'd expect a better performance from NXT, but finding those early misses on those LNs, definitely have to watch out, especially seeing their performance on the technical LN as well, being kind of a long shot compared to Jose, kind of does also raise that red flag. But if they manage to prevent the score from going above 50k, they will still be their head will still be above the water. But with this map being 3 minutes, I think anything can still happen. But we'll have to see when we jump into this Ki, kind of transitioning between some of the jump stream and some of those technical releases as well, which both players are still holding on to very well.
Yeah, this seems definitely more like a denser LN map, so it's spelling out a better lead for Jose at the moment with kind of a huge gap at the moment, which, if this keeps up, will be the end of Enxevity's match here. Kind of a brutal drops we have here in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and it also isn't going to be helping that the score digit has been the score difference is a 6-digit lead right now, and especially now that the difficulty is going to be ramping up a bit when we do get to the second drop, which will be pretty shortly. And actually, just at this point, there is not going to be enough time, and actually kind of has to hope for that miracle and hold on themselves as well. Kind of does follow same format as we have seen with the first Ki. A bit more that heavier jump stream, a bit more of those heavier jump stream bursts, and at 230 can kind of be hard to transition between that and some of the minier LNs. But as the outer comes through, there is not going to be enough time. That a 150k point lead has been reached by map 3, which means Jose is going to be getting their way. Oh, nice miss. Okay, nice reverse shield. Okay,
Wow.
Jose is going to be. No, that's normal shield. Okay, my bad. Jose is going to be getting their way into the not winners bracket. They are going to be advancing from the playoffs. So, well played to both players. It was kind of unfortunate that it did end early, but hey, these things do happen. And still, both players still put up a really good performance. But when Enxevity is facing someone like Jose, who was kind of a powerhouse through most of these playoffs, it can be a bit hard to um, it can be a bit hard to kind of play, kind of fight against that. But but it does happen. And I guess it also is somewhat, um, it is, I guess, a learning experience as well. Wait.
Yeah. It's I'd say it's kind of like a little bit of an insane seed gap between the two players here, between 40 and 90 or 89. So, but we should see how Jose does in week 2.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. And actually, at this point, I think I'm not too sure. There is another match on at this time as well, so I think we can move over to that if it is still ongoing. Oh my god. Okay. I'm not used to this. There's still one more pick. Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm still not used to. I'm still kinda not used to the gimmick of this tournament. So NXT has one. Okay, NXT has one more final pick. Okay. NXT has to win this next pick to keep their head afloat. This will be their potential last pick, and they have to pick very wise, I think. So I'm not entirely too I think it has to be Rice. I would say Rice 4 or Rice 5, they have to pick. If they...
Yeah, not really.
Their strongest pick, I would say.
Right. Because we've been through all the map categories at this point in hybrid or Rice, hybrid, and LN, so, and with Jose kind of stomping all of them. I'm not really sure what, what's it called, and Enxevity can take here.
We'll just have to see. But it'll definitely be one to Rice, I feel. So if I'd say Tech. I think definitely the weak point of Jose is definitely one of the Techs. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on what they'll decide what they want to pick.
Yeah, it's a little hard to tell with the chat being off.
Yeah. Laser client being the laser client. Don't worry, guys.
Oh, the pick is
Oh, it's Cherry? If I remember, I thought Cherry was banned. I guess that's the advantage. I guess that's the disadvantage of not having the chat. Okay.
I also thought it was banned.
So I think it was Rice 1 that Jose did ban, which, kind of looking at both players in the stance of Cherry, okay, it does kind of make a bit more sense. Jose having that 972k from the qualifiers. I don't know. X having one of the higher scores for them on the qualifiers. Though I think Tech would have been a stronger pick in my opinion. But after kind of seeing how Rice 3 went, maybe might not having the confidence to play something like Rice 4 or Rice 5. So that could be a potential factor. But at this point, well, it's definitely a better pick than the LNs, but I think a better pick could have been utilized.
Yeah, I think he has to kind of go all in on the Rice here, seeing his performance on the LNs earlier.
Yeah, well, I think, okay, we're just gonna quickly restart because we're just quickly restarting our clients, so please be patient with us. It's been a long night for me. It's 11 p.m. It's 11 p.m. And yeah, I don't know if we do have any update on. I don't know if we do have an update on the other match right now, but if we do, we will keep you updated, because if that match is still ongoing when this match does finish, we will move over. And yeah, it does look like Cherry is going to be picked, so going to be our jump stream pick at 250 BPM. So compared to the qualifiers, a bit easier, I would say. So I think Enxevity does have the chance to get a pretty good competing score, as long as they do kind of keep focused.
Yeah, I think this is I forgot what the song.
Okay. Looking at the other match, I think it is still ongoing. King Edwin having a 120,000 point lead, so it is probably likely that that match might end soon as well. But we'll just have to see.
Yeah, it seems to be more like a end stream mirror map. So we'll see how Enxevity does here. He's keeping it fine at the moment. Finally breaking that 400 combo.
Yeah, see, this map is definitely more of that consistency test. While both players still have the full combo this early on, we do kind of see a minor density spike when we do get into our main key eyes. And especially when we do get to the back half, we're going to be seeing a lot more of those trills being present. This map is just non-stop, I would say. And if you do not have the stamina for a kind of pick like this, then you could be in a lot of trouble. But with Enxevity, you just kind of finding those excessive 200s. It's not really looking good for him near the start, but as we do get into the key eye, we'll just have to see if things do change. And just kind of looking already, Enxevity just kind of struggling to keep up. Like, still finding some pretty clean misses, but misses are not what you want to see, especially when you're playing early game.
Yeah, now we've gotten just into the 50% mark of the map here. It's the misses are a lot more detrimental around here.
Yeah, but at least it is more near the start of the map, so if Enxevity just kind of keeps more on focus, they could probably have the potential to maybe swing things back over if Jose does kind of have that, if Jose does kind of find some misfortune. But when we do get into the final quarter, you're just going to have to be playing non-stop 215 for this last area. And when the density and a lot more of those 1 and 2 hand trills alternate between each other, Jose actually going to be taking their combo drop as well, which could give Enxevity that chance to maybe catch up their score a small bit. But at this point, I'm just not sure if there's enough time. Like, even if Jose does find a few more misses, like what good is that over to Enxevity? Like, even still, not even, like, still struggling to keep up with that 400 combo count at this point.
Yeah, Jose's miss around the 75% mark is kind of a glimmer of hope for Enxevity here, but he cannot keep up right at the end here.
And so do get to the outro, seeing a bit more of some of those 1-6 streams, which I think both players still kind of able to keep up. Enxevity does find a final drop at the end, but unfortunately not able to keep up with that 6-digit score difference. Still very good scores regardless, 982k, 877k. Still very good for a mid-seed and a lower-seeded player. And just like that, with the score difference being that great at this point, it is going to be deciding. Okay, this is actually for real now. This is going to be giving Jose their victory and their way out of the playoffs and into our round of 64. So well played to both players, and that means we'll also unfortunately be saying goodbye to Enxevity. Despite putting up a great fight, it is just not going to be enough for now.
Yeah, kind of a brutal matchup we had here between the two players. I'm not sure what could have possibly been done from Enxevity here to win this matchup, but he put on the best performance he could, and I think that's a good start.
Yeah, I think both players still put on a really impressive performance. Like, if this is one of your first tournaments, or like if you are like getting into tournaments, like you all do start somewhere. So take this as a learning experience to try kind of focus on your weaknesses a bit and see what you do need to work for next time. But for now, I do believe the other match has finished as well. If I can check the sheet, it is going to be King Edwin actually winning. King Edwin going to be winning a few rounds earlier as well by 100k score. I do believe that was after match number 5. Map number 5, I mean. And actually, it's a fun fact as well. Their opponent Dave Tim actually rolled a 100, so yeah, we will be seeing King Edwin advance as well into the round of 64, and just like that, is going to be concluding our playoffs. So the showcase will be tomorrow at Monday 14 UTC. So for anyone in the chat, stay tuned for that. It will also probably be announced in the Solo Score Rush Discord server sometime later. And that is all from me. So do you have anything else you want to say, Dark Master, before we do sign off?
That was a pretty good match. I hope I'll see. A lot of you in the stream right now will be in the showcase tomorrow. That's around 9 to 8 a.m. for the Americans. And that is the last match for today. So I guess everyone have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Alright, take care.